pinball, now that it's connected, doesn't need to be static all the time, right? You're going to want to play and you're going to want to be involved in it, part of the conversation that week about what's happening before it changes and it's something different.
All right, guys, welcome to James Hates Everything, and today we are at day one of CES. Of course, we're going to kick things off with a few press conferences and wrap up the day with the big CES Unveiled show where we'll get a look at some of the latest consumer technology. But what we're really here for is Stern, and we're going to take a look at Brian Eddy's latest table, Dungeons and Dragons, the Tyrant's Eye. We get to be one of the first to go hands-on with this exciting new table, and we're going to bring it all to you. So stick around for the latest tech, some surprises, and everything else along the way. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we are back to the hotel room, as you can see, at the end of day one. And man, what a great day it was. Interesting experience. This is my first time at CES, as we've mentioned before. I got an opportunity to go to a few key events today, one being a press conference, which quite honestly wasn't all that impressive. But after that was CES Unveiled. This was the big event for today where media and content creators got their first look at many of the exhibitors that will be at CES beginning tomorrow. This is an interesting event. There was this giant roped off area for a line, so I made the decision to go ahead and show up early for this because I didn't know how crazy it would be or if anybody would get in. And as you can see, it didn't take long before that line exploded and there were hundreds of media guests waiting to get in. While in line, I was talking to another gentleman who is a veteran of CES, and he mentioned that this line tends to fill up and then they cut it off, and you didn't get in, you didn't get in. And so I did not want to miss this. Immediately as we got in, you could see there were already tons of exhibitors in there, a lot of excitement. It was catered, so they had, hors d'oeuvres, food, drink, all over the place, and some really interesting things. I will say my first impression was it wasn't as impressive as I thought it would be. But still very neat. We saw a lot of robots. So this robotic dog here was pretty cool. I mean, robotic dogs aren't a new thing, but this one at the show certainly was playful, more like life than some of the other ones we've seen. We also saw this robotic end table, which has a lamp on top of it. It's very emotional, can perform a variety of tasks. It was pretty interesting. Also, along the lines of robots, we got an opportunity to check out Romi. And Romi, as you can see, looks like one of those, I don't remember what they're called, one of those squishy things, or the slime. They're called from Dragon Quest. And it is one of these emotional robots. So it's designed to have conversations and really connect with the user itself, to be a friend, to help with loneliness, those kinds of things. And you can see it comes in a variety of colors, but of particular interest was this Hello Kitty version. I found really neat. I got an opportunity to talk with the company's owner and founder, and currently there is no public API for this device. I've seen other emotional robots like this in the past that do have an API that would allow you to connect up various apps and other things. So maybe over time this becomes developed, but in and of itself, it's a cute little thing and could be pretty interesting for those who just are searching for a companion or somebody they can talk to. It can emote over 150 expressions, I think they said. So very, very cool. The next is something that I don't have a lot of footage of, but was clearly the most popular exhibitor at this unveiled event. So we're here at the Kirin booth where they are sharing an electric spoon that enhances flavor. So it gives you the taste of salt. So definitely one of those things that can help you eat healthier. So no actual salt needs to be added to the food. The spoon uses an electric technology that gives you the flavor sensation. So pretty innovative, and as you can see from this crowd, it is something people are super interested in taking a look at. I don't know if it was just the spoon itself or the fact that they had all kinds of bowls of ramen and things like that sitting out. Nobody was eating them, but something was very exciting around the spoon. Then we saw all kinds of AI. Of course, that is to be expected. We saw this set of AI glasses, which are reminiscent of those Meta glasses that you can get at Target or a variety of other stores. And what was neat about these was they have a transparent screen in the lenses. So unlike Meta, which is all audio with cameras facing out, this has all those features plus a screen that people outside can't see. You, as the wearer, can see looking out, but they cannot see looking in. And so that is moving more towards the direction of what we envision smart glasses and AI driven glasses to be able to do. Next up, we're going to go into another one of these kind of companions. We're talking about the character Livehouse. This is some I don't know how else to describe it. It gives the impression of a hologram, and you can see here on the examples, it's inspired using anime characters, but you can update those with a variety of different characters. They react to music. They can actually talk to you, so you can have conversations with them. A pretty cool little tool. Definitely something that would look great on a shelf. And be pretty interesting. I don't know what the price point is going to be on these, but it was certainly interesting, and I can see this being fairly popular with those who are big into anime. So now let's turn to what we all kind of came to CES for, and that is Stern's Dungeons and Dragons: The Tyrant's Eye. I'll tell you, this table in person is way better looking than it looks like on the teaser trailers. And boy, those teaser trailers already looks good. So the art on these tables is absolutely perfect for D&D. Stern contracted with Vincent Prose, sorry, I don't know how to say his name, who is a D&D artist and has worked with Wizards of the Coast and other other companies around D&D, and his art really brings that world of Dungeons and Dragons to life, from the playfield to the side art. And let me tell you, the chromium effect on that LE with that big dragons on the side just looks amazing. These are beautiful tables, from the red powder coating on all the metal. These actually look great. The lighting effects on the LE are also really cool around the speakers. So not only do you get the normal light up effect that you see on some of these, but it actually does things. So I saw in one period where the light was moving around the speakers in patterns and motion and things I hadn't seen utilized before, and maybe I've missed that, but it looked really cool. And so that was a nice little accent touch for the LE. I did get a chance to play the table. Of course, as with any new table, you tend to drain quickly, but it is really cool. I managed to get into the dungeon a few times. That is a really neat aspect. So as you open up the dungeon, you have to get your ball into this little, I call it an elevator, right? So it opens up, you put your ball in the elevator, it closes and takes you down into the dungeon. And that's when the screen changes. You see on the DMD, you see this dungeon hallway. And this is the one of the neater aspects of this table. So then as you start play again, you're being directed across the table to various things as you move through the dungeon. And you'll be asked to make choices to go left, right, or continue ahead. And this dungeon is a maze, right? And just like in D&D, you have to progress through the dungeon by playing various activities on the table itself, and in order to get to the end, get your loot, all those kinds of things. And so one of the cool things about this is that this dungeon resets every Sunday. So you may spend all week learning, playing it, and then again Sunday, now you have to start over. It's a new map, it's a new maze, and it's going to continue doing that. So it adds that constant newness to this table. There are a variety of other things that this thing does from a D&D perspective, such as, choosing your characters. So there's a variety of character classes to choose from, and you build up your experience over time, as Stern has done. They started some of this with Venom, and now they're bringing it to D&D, but they're going above and beyond with D&D to this character save feature. So your character, of course, can acquire items through the shop, which has rotating inventory every week that gets updated. So different items will be available that you could purchase. I understand that there's potentially loot and other things as you complete this game that you'll be able to have and own on your character. Some things at the account level, some things at the character level that will persist and continue. One of the interesting aspects about the class model is when you play multiplayer on this table, the other players will be the different classes, and you actually go adventuring together. So as each of you play, you're in the same environment and actually cooperatively working. So just like a real D&D game, you're going to work together to fight the dragon, to go through the dungeons and complete this table. There are 3 endings to the table. So again, a variety of ways in which you can play and achieve the goal of the table. So they've really thought through this. Of course, this table was designed by legendary pinball designer Brian Eddy and coded by Dwight Sullivan, who is a huge fan of D&D and loved jumping into this table and bringing those aspects into the table. And he has done a great job. I think D&D fans will be super excited about what they're doing. They should see first shipments of this table beginning in February. So look for those to show up. If you are new to pinball, you're a big D&D fan. I know a lot of people have been talking to me about this who maybe don't play pinball, but are those big D&D aficionados. You can use sites like Pinside to keep tabs on locations in your city that have this table. Again, those should start shipping in February, so stay tuned for those. It's really cool. Some of the other things on here is the Wrath, the Relentless Dragon. This mech is probably one of the most impressive mechs I've ever seen on a pinball table. In my limited experience, of course, it moves side to side, it moves up and down. The mouth shoots pinballs out of it, multi-ball, all kinds of cool things are happening with this. Stern actually is patenting this design, and it really is a large piece of this table. You have to fight it, it's going to fight you, and it creates this character that really stands out on the table. It is all about it, and they have put so much love and care into this figure. They've hired some Michael Dorn of Star Trek fame to voice the character, to bring the dragon to life. And as I mentioned, the dragon attacks you. So, for example, when you're in multi-ball, the dragon is going to continually breathe fire at you, shooting more pinballs at you, trying to hurt you and drain those pinballs. And one of your objectives is not to only continue playing the table, but to deflect those balls. And to help with this, there's a cool feature on the table of a shield. So you can hit that action button at the front of the table, and the shield will raise, essentially blocking the ability for the ball to drain through that center. And it stays for a limited amount of time. Different character classes, like the Paladin, for example, that shield will last longer. So they've adapted different aspects of the table to the character that you have chosen. So really, really interesting features. And it's a table I hope to actually get to play a lot more, because this is really, for me, I know they've dabbled in this with other tables, but for me, this table brings a whole other light. It's really a melding of video games and pinball like never before. It's got a deep story behind it that the Stern team developed themselves. It's a unique story with these interesting characters, and so it's something pretty exciting. And so I hope you guys get to see this soon and get a chance to play it, because if you're into Dungeons and Dragons and role play or pinball, it's a table that crosses those genres, and it has a ton of fun and interesting features. Unfortunately, the table I got to play was not set up for Insider Connect, so I couldn't register. But again, it was actually a ton of fun, and I can't wait to spend more time with it. All right, so the next and final thing, we capped off the night with a run-in with a couple ruffians that you guys may recognize. Of course, that's 19K Fox and Officially Unofficial from the At Games Facebook group. It was great to see those guys, to meet them here. Of course, first day in Vegas for CES, and we hung out and just talked nerdy all, for several hours at the Hard Rock Cafe. And it was a ton of fun and great seeing those guys and spending some time with them, and looking forward to the week ahead. And of course, we have coming up what lots and lots of people are interested in. And that, of course, is Media One Up, who has one of their cabs here in Vegas. Of course, John D arrived today from LA and is getting set up in his hotel. We should see this on the 7th. And not only that, but pre-orders of this device are launching at the same time. So get ready, guys, because you are going to want to get a look at this thing. It's bringing some surprises, some things you haven't seen before in similar, home arcade products. So it's going to be pretty interesting, and to see who John D is working with to bring this to light. I can't wait to get a look at it. I can't wait to show it to you guys. Can't wait to hopefully play some of it. But until then, and until the next time, remember, have fun.